Welcome back to the Butterfly Season podcast, guys. Today we are going to talk about specific manifestation and the power of the tongue. So, a little bit of backstory. I am a specific manifester and didn't really feel affirmed in that, good or bad, till I fully dived deeper into my human design. I am a self-projecting projector and a specific manifester. And it was so funny. This is just a side tangent. My husband and I were going through our human design stuff, and he's not a specific manifester. And I would force him to get super specific. And he's like, it's just a feeling for me. And it was so true because he's not a specific manifester. Anyways, the reason why I bring this up on specificity is I know for me as a specific manifester, but also in general, I think this is probably true for you too, specific or not. The power of the tongue is very powerful. And when it comes to reprogramming our subconscious and things like that, I was reading this book. Oh my gosh, what is it called? The Game of Life and How to Play It. It is such a good book, and it talks about a lot of it is the power of the tongue. There's a story in there about this woman who very rich woman would always say, oh my gosh, you're going to drive me into the poorhouse. You guys, I'm going to be broke, joking around. And then sure enough, broke, right? You can do that with anything because our subconscious doesn't know the difference between a joke and what's not a joke. And so I suggest you pick up that book and read it. It is a quick read and it is so good. I did it on Audible and finished it in just a few days. It's short and it's great and it's quick, but it helps you really understand the power of the tongue on things that you say about yourself, things that you say about other people, especially things you say about children, saying things like, oh, she's just being a brat. Or even we've heard this a while during the election when Hillary Clinton was almost president, right? You don't want to call someone bossy. Maybe they're just a great leader. So there's just certain nuances to words that are super important because you can project things, you can call things in, you can manifest them unintentionally. And so with that said, what I don't do anymore, I want to share with you. There's a few things. I don't use the skull emoji anymore. I used to when I was laughing so hard and wanted someone to realize how hard I was laughing, or if I thought something was so crazy that I can't believe that someone took this action and I'm sharing it with a friend, I would put the skull emoji. I do not do that anymore. It sounds probably very small to you listening or watching on YouTube, but it is big for me because I know how powerful my tongue is. I don't also say dead anymore. I'm dead. I used to say that all of the time when I was to me, that phrase meant I'm laughing so hard. This is so funny. I can't believe it. I don't say that anymore. I also used to say, for anyone who likes the Bridesmaids movie, I love that movie. And there's that part in the airplane where she's like, help me, I'm poor. I used to say that all of the time, just as a joke. In any instance, especially if I wanted help, from my husband, if I'm like, oh, can you make me a plate or grab me this? I would be like, help me, I'm poor. No more. Don't say that. And I don't say that anymore because I don't want to unintentionally call that in because the tongue is powerful. There is so much power in the words that we speak. And for any of my co-believers that are listening, you understand this, but also in terms of if you believe in manifesting and you believe in all of that stuff, there's also an equal opposite to that. And you may be calling in, manifesting, speaking something over your life, over your children, over your friends unintentionally. And I want you to take inventory of that. The last anecdotal story that I will tell you about this, I have a really great friend of mine. Her name is Jess, and she had, she came over, very spiritual woman, family, very spiritual. And she came over one day and her baby was maybe 2 or something like that, talking enough to have dialogue and conversation with us. And her child laughed in a crazy way. It was a different type of laugh. And I was like, oh my gosh, you just laugh like a psychopath. That seemed like a fine joke. I wasn't intending to literally call her daughter a psychopath, but my friend goes, hey, don't call her that. Don't use that word. And I was like, whoa, you're being dramatic. And I apologized and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Obviously I didn't mean it. And then when I read that book, I literally went back. I think this was a year or 2 later and called her and apologized again because I get it now, right? You have to protect little children in terms of what people project on them because they are more susceptible than we are as adults, but also the power of your words are so strong. And I want you to believe that to be true for you and figure out what you need to change and how you need to change how you speak. Anyways, it was kind of deep. You might be triggered right now and taking inventory, and that's okay, right? Like the first step is knowing, okay, we're in this together. It just as an affirmation, like I still to this day struggle with those things, and I've taken that action around not saying certain words over a year now. So it's a process, but we're in it together, right? Anyway, that's all for today. I will see you guys next time.